So recording is started. Hi everybody. So how many do I have that did not attend last week? So if you guys want to go back to the the materials I'm using. Okay, Carrie and Margot. Hi Susan. Okay, I'm gonna just show you again the basics, and I'm not gonna go through the whole shebang, all the irons like I did on the last stream. So you guys wanna see that, you can always go back to the recording that I did last week. But I'll still show you the basics, especially the paper. And the paper excuse me, the paper I'm using is Bristol. It's a smooth paper, very smooth. Usually artists use it for coloring with pencils, or some people use it with markers. So this is the paper. And you can also use, this is Bristol board, but you can always use, it's a Bristol vellum. It's just a smooth paper. Yeah, Starfruit is a good one too. Hi, Dee Dee. And what I was gonna start, it was gonna be with I did a couple of, I think I did about a couple of swaps in ATCs for All, and that's when I first came out with that technique. And they also published an article on the technique in the Art Trader magazine. Um, and and I have some ATCs from different artists that they were using this technique when I first started. Um, and my first challenge for them was to spread the crayons and find images. So this is what some of the artists came. I don't know, this is a little glare, but this was one. This one has a lot of texture. This is from another artist, a friend of mine, local, that she's also at ATCs for All. And she found, that's the image she found after she spread the crayons. This is another one. This lady's from England. And she found a face. This one is from a lady from Texas. And this one, it's a lady from Canada. And she actually used color paper, the watercolor. But she used the smooth side of the watercolor, but you can, it's a still texture on it. And somebody just found some balloons. And that was fine, because ATCs for All is for everyone, so anybody can join any of the swaps. And it doesn't matter the skills you have, if you're a beginner to an expert. This one's from a second swap. This one was just, some people were doing just hand-drawn ATCs, so it didn't really matter. The ones previously, you had to find the image after you did the crayon, so it could have been anything. This one, so it was just, as long as it was hand-drawn, it was fine. So this is one. This is a flower. This is a kimono. I don't know if I get the glare. This was this I couldn't really find what it was, but it was an abstract, so that was fine too. Here's one more. This was actually a collage on top of the melted crayon background. So we did different things. This is another collage. But it was a hand drawn and then collage on the background. This one is a stamp. And this one is very special because the lady used silk. This is actually a fabric, ATC. So she used silk, and she used the same technique on silk, and then cut out the fishy and sewn the fishy on the ATC. Yeah, kind of like a batik.
Beautiful.
I did try it myself, but I didn't get this elaborate because I'm not I don't sew. So yeah, this lady's from Scotland. So the technique is, I mean, very you can use it in many different ways.
I think I would be trying it on muslin first. It's so expensive.
Yeah. So if you find it on sale sometimes, I did find writtenness of silk. So anyways, the actual, this is what I'm going to try to do today. And this is just a printout of my original. I don't have my original. It was traded. It was also an ATC. And we're just going to be doing the background and then painting the tree with ink. And I'm going to be using the India ink. And this is what I'm going to be using.
Inks scare me.
Why? It's just like paint.
Because it bleeds.
I'm going to be using a brush, a round brush for the ink. And I'm only going to be using this spectrum of crayons, just orange and yellow. So these are going to be my crayons. And like I told everybody, I usually prefer Crayola. So the cheaper crayons, they just don't have as much pigment. So the prefer is Crayola.
Now, Martha, have you tried using the Neo tubes?
The Neo 2s, the water base?
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, the Neo 2s are water based. So this,
it doesn't spread like the wax in the crayon.
no. They're water based. So usually you need to use water to spread the colors.
Okay, I got you.
Another thing too that I wanted to show you, this is beeswax, just a block of beeswax. And what I use this one is when I want to clean my iron, especially after I use it and I have a lot of colors. This I already cleaned it, but usually after I finish or before I get started to use more different colors. Like last week I was doing blue. I still had a lot of blue on my iron. So usually all you do is just heat it up, use your wax, and then wipe it off with a paper towel. So that's pretty much how you take care of your, so you would just get some wax and then just clean it with your paper towel. And just keeps your iron very clean. And I still have a little bit of blue. So that's just a little maintenance for your iron, and it keeps the iron pretty nice and clean, and it smells good too. It smells wonderful. It's smoking a little bit. So when you see smoke, I don't know if you guys can see it, but iron is smoking. So I usually turn it down just a bit, because you don't want the fumes from the crayons. Also, everybody was asking, this is newsprint. You can find it in the artist aisle, or you can find it in the children's aisle at Mickey's. So, or Joann's. You can use it. You can use it, Carrie. You can use the ones with holes. I have another one that I bought of a. Oops, my camera is not focusing. There we go. And I use it too, and it has holes, and it doesn't really matter as long as you don't, put the wax on the holes. Just use the areas where the holes are not there. I have different. I went through them last week, and see, like this one is a travel size iron and also has holes. And we were using this one when we were in Atlantic City. So everybody was using this one. It's fine. You don't have to spend a lot of money on the iron unless you want to. Yeah, this one is another one, another option. I haven't opened this one yet. This one I paid $5 for it. And I was working with ATCs. This is the one I was using. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, it depends on your canvas size and what you want to use. Like, see, this one it's pretty dirty. I haven't cleaned this one yet. So we're gonna work on a large canvas today. Says any questions before I get started? Okay, so we're gonna get started. And like I said, I already have my my iron on, so should be getting ready to start. And I was gonna try to see if I can. This is my husband's computer laptop, so I'm not really. I use my Mac all the time, so I'm getting used to his laptop. Okay, so we're gonna get started, and I'm gonna have to stand up. So what you do when you mix your crayons, you're gonna mix the colors on the iron, and you're just gonna melt the crayon. And then you're gonna spread it on strokes one way, just like that. And we're gonna cover the whole canvas. So it's gonna take a little. It's gonna be a little tedious. Jessica's gonna watch me how I do it. So, and I usually try to mix 3 colors. It's a preference. You don't have to do it. It's up to you. This time I only did yellow. So. The paper is Bristol. Let me see if I can. I usually have it under my table, so there you go. Yeah, Bristol board. And there's a few other. This is the brand I'm using for now, but it doesn't really matter. I usually whatever is on sale at the time, that's what I get. So like I said, we're just gonna spread. And I'm using a very large canvas. It's a 9 by 12, so it's a little big. And I want to go kind of across with yellow, so for like kind of like horizon. And back to orange. Yeah, last week we were using stamps. This week I'm just gonna use. We're gonna do a freestyle. So it's gonna be kind of like hand painted, but it's gonna be an easy one. It's gonna be just a tree. So this is what I'm trying to do this week.
Okay, ladies, you notice that she's not laying the colors down in a certain position. She's putting it down. If you go in a circular motion, it makes mud.
Yeah, if you go like this, it's gonna make mud. The colors are just gonna be mixed. This here,
Bristol paper.
yeah, here's where you mix. Here's where you're gonna mix your colors on the yarn, and you're just gonna spread. And in some areas, you see a little white, but I'm not gonna. It's okay as long as they're just small areas of white. It's fine.
Yes, she just pulls the color off the iron when she lays it down.
Yes, that's all I do. Is I mix my colors here on the yarn, and then I spread it on the paper. It's a very fast technique when you're doing a big or small canvas. And also, usually I try to peel off the paper off the crayon, because see, like I didn't do it all the way, so now I gotta stop to peel off the paper.
I found the easiest way to strip the color paper off of them is to use an X-Acto knife.
Yeah, If I could find my X-Acto knife. If I could find my X-Acto knife, that'd be the easiest way.
Truly, after playing with this technique, no Crayola is safe.
No, kids are gonna be hiding them from you. So just trying to get finished. And you don't have to use this colors. I mean, it's your preference on what colors you choose. A lot of people don't like reds and yellows. Some people like blues. I did blue last week, so I said I was going to change it this week. So, almost done with this step. Well, yeah, you could have used pink, but like I said, I'm trying to recreate this one, so that's the reason I'm staying with the same colors. So now we're gonna. I usually try to start with. I always take off. Start clean again.
Martha, are you saving those papers for Joycey?
Joycey, she wants the paper.
Yes, she loves
This ones?
Yes.
Okay. Let me fold it for Joycey then. And like I said, I usually like to clean my iron a little bit before I do the second step. So that way the back doesn't get as ugly. And you're also going to need a clean paper towel for this step.
Sorry about the air, ladies. I cannot multitask.
So we're going to iron on circular motion. And then we're going to wipe it off. Excuse me a second. I was sick with bronchitis, so I'm still trying to come up out of it.
And again, ladies, notice that she's not going in a circular motion. She is just rubbing it off. She's buffing it off.
From the back, you can do circular motion. It doesn't matter. You just heat it up now to remove the wax. When you turn it upside down.
Yeah, if you just remember when we were working with this process is that as long as you're working on the top of the work to go in a straight linear fashion, you can do all your circular motion on the back. Can't hear me? If you always remember that when you're on the top of your work, you always want to go in a straight line.
Yeah, Mitzi is on another computer, so I'm trying to keep her low because it's a feedback. If I on my computer is not, I couldn't do Skype and Ustream at the same time, so. So if you guys have questions, I can stop and answer the questions.
Okay, Martha, you make it a point to tell them whenever you're on the top of their work to always go back and forth, not just stay paying attention. They always
Okay.
they won't make a muddy mess.
Okay. That's what Mitch is trying to tell you. When you spray your crayons on the iron and you put it on when you're trying to color your background, just go on a straight motion. Just like this. If you do it like in circular motion, your colors are going to get mixed. Okay, I can slow down. Right now I'm just like, so when you spreading your crayons, you will put your crayon on and just do a stroke, a linear stroke like this. So, but when you're trying to remove the wax, you can do the circular motion. Because right now all we're doing is just removing the wax from the paper. And then you turn it over and you get your clean, well, this is not so clean. And you're going to remove the wax.
Martha?
Yes.
Marco's question is if you want to put some accent colors like white in the white areas directly to the paper, will it mess it up?
No, after you finish the steps, you can paint, you can use gel paints, you can use acrylic paints, you can use almost anything. And like I said, if like this areas of white bother you, you can go back and fill them in. Did that answer your question, Margot?
Yes, you did.
Okay. See, like I don't like a lot of this white on this corner, so I'm gonna go back and put more color. Like I said, this is a big canvas, so that's why it's taking so long. But if you were gonna use paint, it would have just taken just as long. So. So the melted crayon technique is pretty much done for the canvas. So I know somebody was trying to play along, so I don't want to jump ahead. So any other questions? Okay, so I'm gonna wait when you finish ironing the back. And I'm pretty much done, so I'm gonna turn off. Like I was telling at the beginning, if you want to clean your iron, you can use a block of beeswax. And then clean your iron. That will remove the colors. See, it's still red. It's still orange. The Bix Wax it's in the candle area, Mickey's. And I have had this one for years, so it lasts quite a bit. So I'm going to turn off the iron. So did anybody else have questions before I get started with the next step, which will be painting? So all we're going to do is going to be kind of like a basic tree. So it's going to be just painted with black, with the black ink. So, okay, so I'm going to go for it. So this is pretty much, I mean, it's very basic, a tree form. Yeah, some people on other sites were calling me Waxy. That was my other nickname. What I'm going to use is going to be just a round brush to use with the India ink. Talking about breakfast. So I'm trying to have I have water just for my brush. And also going to eat another piece of paper towel. So here we go. So if I get quiet while I'm painting, just tell Mitzi to pay attention to the chat.
I am. They're talking about food and baked beans. You know, us girls cannot get together without talking about food.
So I'm just trying to cover right now the trunk of the tree.
Ellie, he ate half of her mother's blood pressure pills. So if you'll send some prayers their way, that would be appreciated.
So anybody can paint a tree, right?
Trees, I find, are very free. Yeah, I am so glad that they realized he took them too. I can't imagine how he found them or where he found them.
So did you guys feel like this technique is hard or so far for the especially the new people? Mitzi, they can't understand what you're saying talking, so you might have to type it in. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I'm get quiet while I'm working. It's hard to talk and and pay attention at the same time.
They're talking about baby Ellie right now.
I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. And all I'm doing just working the ink. If the branch looks too slim and it needs to be a little bit wider, just go back. So I'm not sure if you guys see. Thank you, Mitzi, for putting the website.
No problem, that's my job. You guys have to check out her blog. She does phenomenal work.
So I think that's pretty much all I'm going to do. So I might work later and give it more details, but just trying to get you guys with some of the basics and the, the not too hard techniques, because it can get like if when I do paintings and acrylics and Prismacolors and it gets a lot of very time consuming, and it's a lot of details trying to mix all those mediums. Also helps if, like, this is a big brush, so if you want more details you can use a smaller brush, especially on the branches. Or when you're working on a small canvases, you can also even use a pen. Like if you want your lines really detailed. But I'm working more on the free form right now, so. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, I joined an art and craft association locally, and I've been working on the shop. But I'm thinking I'd also be I've been teaching because they have like a small scrapbook store. I've been teaching mixed media, and I also have my little shop. But I think I'm gonna just continue teaching, and because I also work full time, and it's kind of hard to keep inventory and get ideas for classes and prepare for the classes and prepare for the different art shows they have and different functions. So something had to give up. So I'm going to continue teaching, but I probably won't have the shop anymore. I had to move it down a little bit because it was.
Martha, I have a question for you.
Okay.
How long does it take for the India ink to dry on the wax? Is it still wet or does it dry instantly?
It's getting there. It's not that wet. In about, I don't know, about another 5 minutes probably be dry if I stop putting more ink on it. It gets dry pretty very quick.
Does it?
Yes. This one is I think it's acrylic, kind of an acrylic base India ink. Speedball is the name brand. And this one also is actually, this is permanent waterproof. So that's one thing that you have.
Carrie has a question. Because you took the wax off, can you use your heat gun on it?
Yes, you can use the heat gun on it. Yeah, actually, if you don't want to turn it over in iron, you can just use your heat gun and remove the wax to just wax it off.
Good question, Carrie.
A lot of times I do that if I don't, if my iron is buried somewhere. Sometimes I work and do a lot of backgrounds. Like if I just do backgrounds, I sometimes I do a lot of them at one time, and then I put everything away, and then I just cut them to size what the size I want, and then from there. And a lot of times I do use the heat gun to remove the wax. This is another. My brushes are on the way on the camera. This is another handy tool that I was showing last week. It's also on the kids side, on the kids area. And you can, with this little scratchy tool, you can actually remove the ink or paints. Like you can scratch it off. I'll get a close up in a minute so you guys can see. So like if you want to give highlights. Can you guys see it? I don't know if you can see it. Are you able to see? So you can use this with many different ways. So this way you can give some highlights. Can you guys see it?
Yes, Fiona. The black is India ink.
Yeah, this is India ink, the black. And this is my background I use. And see, I have a little bit right here. It's a little too black dots, and I'm gonna try to remove. So if you make mistakes, this is a nice. You can also use your fingernail sometimes. Sometimes if I can't find this tool, I use my fingernails just to remove it. Just scratching it off. So like I said, if you guys want as many highlights you want to do with this, it's the little details that makes the difference. Yeah, this one I got it at Michael's. I'm like Mitzi, always in the kids section looking for, different things so I can use it for my art. It's just much cheaper. A lot of times you find these tools in the artist sections, but they're a lot more expensive for the same thing. The ink should be, it's almost dry now. Yeah, a lot of times it's better to do it when it's dry, when you're using this tool. Either ink, or if you're using, sometimes I use acrylics. So I always have to wait until the paint is dry, or the ink. Any other questions? Yeah, the ink is already dry. That's right. That's another reason I like to use the ink. I love the ink because it dries so quickly. And also the acrylics dry quickly too, so I don't think sometimes I turn it. But like I said, you work the details as much as you want. Because once you start scratching, you can't stop. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next one. So, like I say, I'm working off of this. So not exactly the same, but I don't think I can never recreate something exactly the same. So now we're gonna go with the acrylics. I'm not really sure. They're not flowers or anything. It was just something to fill up the space of the painting. So I'm gonna work and trying to get my colors. This is another medium I use when I'm using the acrylics. I'm using golden paint acrylics, and I also use that acrylic glazing liquid. So that's uh, just trying to make your paints a little bit transparent, so they're not as, so you can see the background, because a lot of times when you're making this backgrounds, there's a lot of variation of colors that you don't want to cover with acrylics. You know, just you want to make it, you want to make them a little transparent. You want to make the acrylic paints transparent, and just work on layers. So I'm gonna load up my brush so I can do some of those flowers I did. I don't know, they're not really flowers, but they were flowers. So I'm just using a few dots. I have some green and some blue, white and orange, and some of the the glazing. Yes, your preference. If you want to use satin or you want to use gloss. I use gloss almost for everything, and I've been finding out that a lot of times the gloss doesn't take good pictures when you're trying to take pictures of your paintings. Hi, Rachel. So I'm gonna mix white and some of my green. And this is random. So I'm just gonna do just gonna mix some flowers, and I don't like this brush. Here, commercial. So, because I'm not boring you guys, this is boring when you're just watching somebody else do paintings. And yeah, we need some Baileys. And like I said, our paints, usually you have to do layers and keep working on the layers. See, I learned all this all by myself, so I'm a self-taught artist. There's a lot of people with more experience than me, probably. So who's bored?
Yes, Martha, you're in the corner now because you said that bad word, boring. We're not allowed to say that word.
Oh, we're not?
The old taser.
Okay.
You have to remember this group likes to watch paint dry.
And I'm working almost one color at a time right now. I'm already in the corner, so.
Colleen, when you get done with it, will you post pictures to Twitter?
Is Colleen working right along?
Yes, she is.
Oh, good. And usually when you don't like something, you just cover it with a flower. If something didn't come out the way you wanted it, good excuse to cover it up. What, the flowers are easy, but the tree wasn't so good? It doesn't have to be perfect. All trees are different, so.
Rachel, your kitty does not need to be covered up. She's gorgeous. Martha, you have a drop of paint?
A drop of paint where? Oh,
Off to the side.
all right. Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna have to let it dry, and I'll remove it later. Or it
You
could be,
need a new branch there and a blossom.
huh?
I said, just put a branch there and put the blossom there.
It's gone. It's gone. It was actually glazed, so it's gone. Yeah, the crayons are so forgiving. So when you start really working with them, you're gonna find out that it's so forgiving if you make mistakes. I have removed almost a face off of the crayon and start over. Whose cat? Rachel's cat? It's making art.
She's drawing a cat and it's phenomenal and she thinks it's crap.
Oh,
Rachel, we're always our own worst critic.
yeah, I know. I love all the art I've seen from Reg is gorgeous. I remember about, I think it was last year when you had a when you had a I think it was a Halloween, not this past Halloween, but it was I think last year. And I loved your video, and I was posting it on Facebook, telling everybody that what a great project you had done. And everybody thought it was mine, so then I had to go back and say, no, no, it's not me. Yeah, my paints are still wet, and I'm trying to layer colors, and they're just mixing. Yeah, that's the one last year that you did for Halloween. And I posted it on Facebook, and people thought it was me with that video, and I was like, no, it's not me. It's just inspiration. And here we are. We met again. Do you guys use the heat gun when you're doing acrylics? I try not to because I'm afraid it's gonna curl up or crackle or. So how's everybody so far? Do you guys have any more questions about the crayon technique? Fresh, did you miss when I was spraying the crayons? I think this is pretty much it. I mean, I might have to go back and do more details, but um, I don't know what you guys think.
I like it.
Not too hard, right? Yeah, kind of like a peacock tree. Yep. I was gonna show you a few more pieces that I've done before. So I don't just do crayons, I do other things. That's glare. I thought it looks white. It's just glare. Last year about this photo album for about, I think they were like $3. And to me it was just like a little plain. So this is what I made off of it. So if you guys see, I took it to one of the retreats at ATC's Raw, and I have some art from others. This is mine, and his melted crayon, kind of the same colors I used today. And this is a stamp of a clock, and then everything else was freehand. And this is some art from other usually what we do, when we do trade, well, it wasn't really a trade, but you give them your piece of paper, and then you put your address, and they send you back the page, kind of like what Adida was saying yesterday. The pages are 8x8 on this album. Yeah, since I bought it so cheap, I decided to take it. Like I said, the pages are 8x8. The album is, I don't know, it could be about 12 by 9 maybe. Let me see. Smaller than this. This is a 9 by 12, so probably 8.5 by 11, or I'm not sure. Yeah, but this is the pages that it holds are 8x8s. That's what it holds. Yeah. And when I do my random paintings, I would just spreading paint all over it. And actually, she came out out of all the when I was just randomly painting the back of the album. So then I had to do the back too. And when I did it, I think it was around Mother's Day, so that's the reason I have this lady over here. This is another of my paintings that you made. Some of you, I think, got a copy of a print when we met at the retreat, the Ranger retreat. And she's been a very hot seller at the shop with a lot of prints, especially around this time. And I also have this guy. The surface of the album, it's a little bit like cloth. This was a little like cloth. It's not plastic. And all I did is gesso it and then painted it. Bye, Nikki. I hope you learned something new. Rachel, did you get to see how I was spraying the crayons? Nope. You want me to do a small demonstration? Anybody wants to just this? All I need to do is heat up the iron again, and it should be in a minute. Okay, I'm just gonna put my ink away because I don't want it to spill. And like I told everybody, you're probably gonna need Bristol board. You're familiar with Bristol board, right? And this is this is the paper I usually use. Yeah, wait a few minutes for the iron to get hot. And like I tell everybody, you can use just a craft iron. You don't have to buy the expensive irons, or if you have an old one, a regular iron, it's okay even if it has holes. I haven't been using this one for like 3 years, so it's still working. So like I think just need to find the crayons again, put them away. Here we go. So this is what I'm using. I usually try to use 3 colors, and you can mix them. You can even have green and red. Probably gonna change it a little bit. And another way too, you can always try your crayons to know what colors you want to use. This is my pen. And my iron is smoking, so I need to, whenever you see your iron is smoking, you need to turn it down so you don't get the fumes. And I'm gonna use a green this time, so I'm gonna mix it up a little bit more. So that way you guys can see that if how you can make mud. So I'm spreading the colors on the iron. And all you do, one motion, you spread. See, and this one is a little brownish because I had so much, but it's still okay. It doesn't really. All you do just made another color. So you can really choose your colors. Right now, this is just a demonstration, so I'm not really worried what colors I'm doing. But I'm going to show you what not to do. See, these are not two complementary colors, the green and the orange. It's making brown. But this is pretty much all you do. Just grab in one motion. So say that I did the same thing, and went in circular motion. So this is what, see the big difference when you do that? It made it, most of it is brown. It's a brown color. And like I said, the colors are not really my preferred colors, but I was just trying to be sure that you guys understood when we meant like don't go in a circular motion. And when I'm gonna do that, if I'm gonna mix my colors like that, I usually, a lot of times I just work with one color at a time. Even this one I didn't like because there's a lot of brown on it. And even though I'm still getting brown, this can be removed, that brownish color. So do you guys see the difference? And like I said, this is just demonstration. So, and then Rach, after you do that, when you finish spreading the colors, you're gonna turn it upside down, and then iron. Heat up the paper. You grab a clean paper towel, and then you're just gonna remove the wax. And if an area is still kind of too dark, you can use just a plain eraser and line it up. See, I wasn't using the eraser on my other one because I was going to use paintings. But said if you had a stamp here, you would use your eraser. Yeah, Carrie, wax on, wax off. So that's pretty much it for me today. So unless you guys have more questions. Yeah, in my previous in the stream I did last week, it shows all that technique, how to use the eraser, how to use the stamps. So you guys can always go back and look at those different techniques. So next week I'm gonna try to do I'm probably gonna use I'm really not sure, but I'm trying to use something a little different so you guys know how to use the different techniques. You want to see more art? Let me see if I can find more art. I give it all away. And I usually do a lot of Fridas, so every time I trade, people ask me to do Fridas. So here's another one. So this one I did last year when we met at, I think it was Rochester, New York. And the bikini waxing, that's a good one. This one, Rach, I used, it was this is actually polymer, the polymer liquid that you use for the polymer clay. And I did it on a canvas. And then this is actually melted crayon too. I forgot about this one. Yeah, we can always wax Frida's eyebrows. Yeah, but this one is actually that Sculpey liquid polymer. And also, I've been trying this melted crayon almost on anything. So just trying to see what mixes work and what mixes don't work. And like I said, when I found it, when I discovered the technique by mistake, it was actually kind of, after that I was just, I was been trying it on everything, different mediums, acrylics, inks. I even tried watercolors. The watercolors and the wax don't mix very well, so that's as far as it went with the watercolors. And I think I showed my big paintings last week, and I put them away actually. uh, I made this one a couple of weeks ago. I don't know, it's a lot of glare. There she is. This was born the nativity time. Hi, Jess. And then I did some prints for the shop after I actually made cards. So, well, thank you, everybody. Oh, how do I get my prints? I usually just use Snapfish. I try to get a good scan of it or a good picture of it. Sometimes I take my own pictures when I have larger canvases, and then I just send them to get printed on matte paper, not glossy. I gave Art a big one. It was, I think, I'm not sure if it was at 18 by 24 or 26, something like that. I gave her a huge print. So thanks again. Thank you for coming, and hopefully I'll meet you guys next week. No, I don't have. I do have an Etsy, but I haven't put anything yet. So it's just I'm out of time because I'm gonna close my other shop and then probably put everything on Etsy. So you have a question, Fiona? So thank you, everybody. I'm gonna try to stop the recording and save it.